What's up? It's your girl Drama Queen coming to you with another reaction video for season 7 of 60 Days In. Now, this is the first reaction video for this episode, which is episode 8, titled Who Runs the Pod? So in this particular video, I'll be talking a little bit about Carlos, a little bit about Darius, and a little bit about Rose. I will also have two other videos. One video I go more in detail with Thumper and Nick, and the other one I go a little bit more in detail on the things that are happening over at the women's pod in the Henry County Jail. So shouldn't keep you long. Just kind of want to go through this episode. Had an array of emotions going through this particular episode, and so I'll start with let's start with Darius. Let's go ahead and start with him. We'll go, we'll talk a little bit about Thumper or whatever his name is, but Darius started off the episode talking about that, Thump had a tattoo that said no hands out, but all he gets is hands out. And I was like, yeah, I could see that. Everybody knows when you're in jail, like your commissary, when you're ordering commissary, when you get your commissary, like back up. That's grounds to get your ass whooped. And he was just way too eager. And with Thup was rapping, I'm like, is this even rapping? Now I'm not familiar with what's his name? I think his name was Blueface. I'm familiar with him with the drama that he's going on with this Krishan or whatever, but I've never really heard his music, and I heard that he is like an offbeat rapper. So my assumption is maybe Thumper wants to be an offbeat rapper. I don't know. But I like the fact that one of the inmates was like, that rap sucked. I mean, it had no rhythm to it. Like, I just love the genuine honesty among the inmates. So, one of the things that I really enjoyed about watching Darius this week is I enjoy watching confident people and people that know what they're doing, they believe in themselves, and they are able to articulate that in a quiet, non-discreet way. Like, I love that. I love Darius's quiet confidence. He doesn't have to go around beating his chest and saying, I'm the pod boss, I'm in charge. No, no. And I really enjoy watching Darius because one of the things that bothers me about 60 Days In, and I'm seeing it more so, I'm going to say probably season 4, 5, 6, and now going into season 7. When you are talking about the male participants on 60 Days In, I feel like it's a penis swinging competition. Like, well, let me see, this person got this many shanks, or this person collected this, so let me see if I can do it better. Everything is that top me mentality. And for me, that takes away the legitimacy and the importance of the program when you're having a penis swinging competition to see who can outdo the next person. I don't like that. And I don't feel like Darius has that attitude. I feel like Darius genuinely is just a quiet leader. He has quiet confidence, and that is something that I enjoy. Darius ain't no punk. He gonna say how he feels, but he doesn't have to do a whole lot with that. I am so thankful when I watched season 7 that we in season 6 did not have like the open concept of the jail, because I just don't think that would work for me. When Darius was saying that Thump was going around like looking in people's under the bed, I don't like you're already giving up a lot of control in jail, but then you got this open concept and people can just come and go as they please. I liked having a door that I can close and that I can lock, and that if anything came up missing, I knew who it was. But it never happened because my roommate and I, we had a genuine trust and respect for one another, and so that was never ever an issue. And I could see how that could be an extra stress because it's like, dude, I gotta count my inventory, then I gotta watch my room. I can't even be outside of my room without wondering if somebody gonna come in here and take something. So I just really enjoy watching Darius. I like watching Darius when he gets into the big brother mode to protect and educate Deshaun. And let's let's talk about Deshaun for a minute. Oh my god. Oh my god. When Deshaun punched Stokes, y'all, like when he was going back, I was like, okay, he gonna get him. Like, he in the stands, he ready, he about to knock him out. And when Carlos said that, pew, that Mario, that Mario punch, I ain't gonna lie, y'all. I love Deshaun, but I had to rewind it because I was like, this shit is funny as hell. He just, pew. I'm like, my 13-year-old could do a better punch than my 13-year-old nephew could do a better punch than that. But I think that's one of the reasons that I like Deshaun is his innocence. He is in jail, and a lot of times when we see people in jail, we may think that they're thugs, they're fighters, they're this, they're hardcore, and a lot of the times they're not. They're not, and it's just that innocence that makes me want to know a little bit more about Deshaun. I don't like the fact that Thump is bullying Deshaun, but we'll go into that because I got a special video for Thump and Nicholas because there were some things that happened that I just didn't like. We'll talk a little bit about it in this video because I got to hold some people accountable that I'm talking about in this video. But I like the fact that Darius really went into protection mode with Deshaun and told him like you can't be hitting people and punching people every time somebody make you mad, but low key, I'm kind of proud of you. Like, how did it make you feel? Like, I enjoyed that because that is a genuine response of like a big brother or a mentor. Like, I gotta let you know what you did was wrong, but dude, like, oh, I liked it. It gave me the warm and fuzzies. So I really like watching that. It's like a proud Mario Papa Bear moment because he did stand up for himself. And I think that it was unfortunate that Stokes being a grown man and knowing that Deshaun is a child, that once he thought about it, he wanted to basically fight Deshaun. But I'm glad that he had enough sense to back away when he saw the support that Deshaun got from everyone else in the pod or the dorm. So I think that it's going to be interesting to watch Deshaun's story and see how, Darius and Deshaun's relationship and Carlos and Deshaun, because I thought it was very cute when Deshaun went in there and was talking to Carlos and was basically saying, my life is better since I met you. And Carlos got out of the bed and gave him a hug. So I like the fact that even though Carlos and Darius are not supposed to know each other, that or know that they're in this together, I like the fact that they're kind of tag teaming Deshaun to protect him. I did enjoy watching that. Deshaun said, this was my first time ever punching somebody. And it felt good. And it just, it was enjoyable to watch. This episode was very good. Looking at the ratings, this is one of the top rated episodes for this season, and I can definitely see why. They're building up the anticipation for some big things that are probably going to be coming down the line. So I really did enjoy watching Darius. I can see why Darius is a mentor and why he enjoys helping the underdog. I really enjoy watching Darius. So let's move a little bit into Rose. I called Rose in this episode Miss Action Jackson Rose. She said, baby, these women need me and I need to say something. So I'm so glad that they are showing these conversations because these conversations were had in the Etowah County Detention Center by myself, by Jennifer, by Ashley, but they, of course, pick and choose what they want to show. But I like the fact that they are showing Rose being an advocate for these women, even though she was just angry at Light Bright, which we'll talk about her in another video. Well, no, we'll talk about her here. Selena Woody. Let's go ahead and talk about Selena. So, Here's one of my issues with this particular episode. There were a lot of racial things that took place that may not have been as visible to everyone else, but that's something that I'm very sensitive about. So when Selena Woody introduces herself, she says, "I'm Selena Woody and everybody calls me Light Bright." The first thing I thought is, what the is that supposed to mean? Because again, and again, I know you cannot fully identify someone's race strictly by looking at them. Some people you can, but there are people that are ethnically ambiguous and you can't tell what all they are mixed up with. And I get that. However, when I hear the term light bright, I also seem to think about African American community, because within the African American community, we have our own racism between the light skinned African Americans and the dark skinned African Americans. So when she referred to herself as light bright, it kind of triggered me and made me feel some type of way. Like, what is that supposed to mean? So you trying to be something you're not? But I won't spend a lot of time on that. I do wonder, am I the only one that thought that way? Maybe I'm just overly sensitive with everything that's going on in the world with race right now. But that kind of triggered me of why you consider yourself light bright, when to me, I don't consider you an African American, and I think of that terminology with African Americans. So it is what it is. Selena is been in jail 23 days. She's 23 years old. She's a convicted felon. She said people think she's crazy as hell. That's because you act crazy. You running around the jail talking about you hate Henry County. You're masturbating. You doing too much, and you want the attention. So guess what? You're gonna get some attention. I'm gonna give you the attention that you want tomorrow, Miss Selena Woody, aka Light Bright. I got something for that ass. So y'all make sure y'all subscribe. You make sure you hit that bell, and make sure you come back tomorrow to see what I got for Miss Light Bright. Now, she said people think she's crazy, but she's smart as hell. So here's my question. There is a camera crew that comes in. Now, there are cameras all throughout the jail, but when the camera crew comes in, you guys just start snorting drugs. It's like the camera crew was right on time. And I'm thinking, what in the entire hell? Are y'all bitches stupid? Like, for real. You are in jail and you are allowing the film crew to record you doing drugs, and then you have the unmitigated guy to tell them what you doing? Make it make sense, please. Make the medication station make sense. Like, there were times when my roommate was doing drugs and I tried to tell her, like, hey, it's a camera right there. And I get why she thought the camera didn't work, because shit else didn't work in the jail before we got there, and who knows how many years previously. But Miss Lightbright, that's not crazy, that's smart, as soon as she sees the cameras, she wants that attention. Not thinking like, well, dang, I'm doing this, I might be able to get some more time. Especially if you're like some of the people that were in season 6, where you continue to go back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth to jail. That was my roommate's issue. She was out of the jail, but then she went back when the show aired, and they were able to basically ask her about some things that she did while the show was filming. They broke it down and said, this is a mood stabilizer that can be broken down and you can get high. Stupid. Not a smart move. Why would you do that on camera? Why would you do it in a room that has a camera, but then you see a camera crew? That tells me that you're thirsty. And that's the thing with the society right now, is that thirsty people are the ones that are getting the attention. Look at how much airtime Miss Lightbright got on this episode strictly by being thirsty. But that's okay, because my girl Miss Action Jackson Rose stepped in and she helped her. And she was able to get people to see Selena in a different way. So kudos to Rose. For me right now, Rose so far is the MVP of the season. I just got to say. For me, Rose is the MVP of the season so far. So far. It's a close tie for me, but Rose has a slight lead for me in being the MVP. One of the things that I did enjoy about Rose is I don't feel like Rose is judgmental. I feel like Rose has a thought and an opinion about something, but she's not afraid to say it to the inmates and break it down why she said it that way. So, when Selena was talking about wanting nasty stuff in her mouth, Rose was just very, well, I keep my sex life private. And, she's like, well, are you trying to say I don't have class? And she's like, no, I'm not saying you don't have class. She just really broke it down. And those are some of the conversations that I enjoy having in jail with the women, because a lot of them didn't have mentors, leaders, mothers, grandmothers, aunties, godmothers, teachers, principals, counselors to guide them and have those conversations. Those are some of the same conversations that I have with my students, because they think it's cute to talk about sex and what they can do and what they want and what their capability and how wet they coochie is and all of that. There's more to women than that. So thank you, Rose, for bringing that up. Although, nope, I'm not gonna go there on this video. I'm not gonna go there. I would just say this. I know that we as women know that sex sells. And so I just want us to make sure that when we are putting a message out there, that message matches what we are portraying in our real world and our social media as well. So we'll deal with the masturbation police on the another video, because that is just a lie. So the reason I call Rose Action Jackson Rose is because Selena approaches Rose and says, hey, I heard through the grapevine that she was like a lawyer or something. And so it was kind of cute how Rose, she just kind of giggled and she's like, well, no, I'm not a lawyer, but I can't help you with your case. And I felt like it gave Rose pride. She felt like, okay, you know what? Selena just pissed me off, but they're talking about me. They have confidence in me that I can help them. This is exactly what I came to do. So game on, let's play. Now, let me play devil's advocate, because even though I love Rose, I feel like she is the MVP. I still have to play devil's advocate, because I'm thinking from an audience standpoint. I'm thinking from an inmate standpoint. I'm also thinking from a past participant standpoint. My first thought would have been, if you can help me with my case, why the hell are you still in jail? So, I get, again, she's not a real inmate. So I get that and I understand that. But that would be what would, be going through my mind. Like, okay, so how much knowledge do you have if you're still here? How long have you been here? But I like the fact that they showed Rose on the kiosk doing her research, looking at the law library, looking at the statutes for the particular state that she was in, because she told her I was not familiar with the laws in this state. The thing I thought about is, you better make the most of your 30-month sentence, girl, and educate and elevate. And that is something that I feel like Rose is doing this season, is she's educating and she's elevating. Now, let's talk a little bit about the women's pie having lice. That is scary, because one of the things that I was not made aware of until Trinity said it is, yes, we as African American women, we don't get lice in our hair here, but we can get lice in our lower region hair. And I didn't know that, because I'm not typically, I've been around lice, my first time being around lice working at the YMCA in college is, we had a lice breakout. We also had lice in the Etowah County Detention Center while I was filming season 6 of 60 Days In as well. But I did not know about the that it shows up as crabs. That I itched like the whole rest of the episode, and I was grossed out. And I remember that there was a girl that was kind of the same thing, freaking out. She didn't want people to know, because she didn't want people to judge her, blame her, think she brought it in here, call her a nasty bitch, just like the drama that went on with this season. But I remember what I did was I had the blue grease. I can't think of what it's called, but black girls, you know what I'm talking about, the blue grease. Not Blue Magic. I can't think of what it's called, but we put the grease in our hair. That's why black women typically don't get lice, because the oils and the greases that we have in our hair. So what I did was I had a medicine cap, or a little medicine thing where they put the medicine in, and I gave them some of my grease. I said, what I can tell you is go ahead and part your hair and use this grease, and this should help get rid of it until they can come up with, another solution. They didn't act like they did. That's one thing I say about season 7. When we had the lights break out, there was no hazardous bags coming in, put your stuff in here. It wasn't none of that. Now, it could have been after I left, because this was the lights breakout in my season happened probably a few days before I left. But they had been telling them that they had lice and nothing had been done. So the officer, when the inmate told her that, hey, I found a lice bug, I was like, I got a lice bug in my hair. The officer's like, all right, like, you need to back up. Like, bruh, get back. I don't want none of that. So I get that, because maybe the officer knew something that I didn't know, which is what Trinity said, which is lice for y'all is like crabs. For us, we get them in our pubes and underarms. I was like, oh. What I did not understand and did not like is when Selena was having issues with one of the girls and was getting ready to, have an altercation. Why the guard couldn't get control of Selena? Like, you're trained to do that. You're paid to do that. Why do you have to have the other inmates? Now, inmates do get involved and try to help, especially trustees. But that officer was struggling. Her arm was doing all of this. And I'm like, why are you struggling? That says to me you need a little bit more training, because you're struggling. So that's all I have on Rose on this one, because I'm going to deal with Rose and Selena on Monday. I'm going to deal with them on Monday. Let's go ahead and dive into Carlos. So, when the episode starts, Carlos said that him, Bull Rider, and Nick had control of the pod, and they're trying to keep the unit stable so nothing drastic happens. This is where, again, I have my penis swinging competition. That's like, what is up with most of the male participants going in wanting to be the pod boss? Like, I almost feel like, with Ashley for my season, even though I love Ashley to death, I feel like Ashley went in knowing that she wanted to be a trustee. And I felt like a lot of these guys that go in for 60 days in, they go in and they want to be the pod boss. Carlos, when he sees Thump come in, who's a alleged gangster disciple from F1, he's letting people know, like, hey, he was throwing up gang signs, and he's gonna be trouble. We're gonna dive deep into Carlos and Thump and Nick on another video. I just wanted to kind of do a superficial coverage of Carlos on this one. Carlos said, that Thump knows I'm watching him, and if he steps out of line, I'll put him back in line. And again, this is where I talk about Darius's quiet confidence. And I even like Bull Rider's quiet confidence. Bull Rider gets kind of hype on this particular episode, but I see why he does it. He doesn't do it all the time. I just feel like a lot of times when people have insecurities and when they have those insecurities, their bark is very, 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 very loud, and they want everyone to know. And that was something that kind of, bothered me this episode. Because it's like that was your goal, and if that was your goal, is your goal interfering with the goal that the jail has for you? I can't say. One thing I do want to address that pissed me off about Carlos to the highest level of festivity, and it's not just Carlos. Pissed me off about Nick. It pissed me off about the production company. Pissed me off about the network. And it pissed me off about the episode. Now, I had to do a little soul searching, and I think I understand why the network played it. So I'm going to give them a little bit more leeway than I'm going to give others. As I mentioned earlier, this episode to me had a lot of different racial things going on in it. And from what I see, Nicholas appears to be not an ambiguous, ethnically ambiguous gentleman. When I look at Nicholas, I get straight up white boy. And in this episode, Nicholas said nigga on more than one occasion. And it triggered me, and I was pissed. Because the first thing I was pissed about was they could have bleeped this out or made it where it wasn't so obvious. But I feel like that the production company wanted to make it known that this was said. Why? Because when I look at the leaders, and I was pissed off that none of the brothers, so I'm really triggered by this because all of the African American men that were in that jail, and maybe men don't take shit as personal and as sensitive as women, and I'll take that as that, but when it comes to racial things, you need to be sensitive. I'm not one that likes to use the word anyway. I use it sparingly. I'm not going to lie and say I don't use it, because I do, but I use it sparingly because I know the drama, the hurt, the pain that word has caused over the years. And I also know that when we use it and we use it in our music, the other races feel like they can use it and that they're justified because I'm just singing a song. I was pissed, but it hit me that I believe the network wanted to see, okay, let's see. Nick didn't use the N-word once. He didn't use it twice. He used it multiple times. And nobody checked him on it. And maybe they did. Let me go back. Allegedly, nobody checked him on it. Because I know that we only see a little bit of what is recorded. But what was shown was nobody checked him on it. What I expected to see, because when I look at Carlos, I can tell Carlos has some black in him. He has some, some Hispanic in him. Carlos is a person of color. He is a minority. Carlos should have pulled him to the side like, Nick, I'm with you on everything, but hey, you need to let that word go. You don't use that word because it can be somebody up in here that does not feel comfortable with you leaving that word. And then I got to protect you because you've used a racial slur and that shit didn't happen. So I got a bone to pick with Carlos. Why you out here finding imaginary shanks and being the pill police? Why didn't you check Nick? That is something that really triggers me. And I know everybody is not triggered by the racial things, but I am because of the things that I go through every day as a black woman. I'm not okay with that. Nobody said anything. Nobody even looked surprised that the word just flew off his tongue so freely. Here's where I'm at. I don't care how many black friends you have. I don't care how many black people you sleep with. It's not a word that's appropriate, really, for any of us to use, but especially if you are not a person of color, especially, mainly, an African American person. It made me look at some people differently. This episode, and I want some answers. And I know I'm not the only one that's triggered because I got some phone calls about it. Like, did he just say the N-word? That's where you lost me. That's where you lost me. I don't like that shit. I don't like it. And actually, I think Thumper was trying to keep from getting his ass whooped. I was surprised he wasn't offended. But you know what? Like I said, we'll go into that video a little later. All right. Carlos said that he has a son the same age as Deshaun, so he feels the need to mentor or guide him. Sure wish you would have had that energy mentoring and guiding Nicholas when he said the N word more than one time. But I will move on. When Carlos hears about the bullying after Deshaun leaves, he gets up and he goes and talks to Deshaun because he's against bullying. But is he doing too much? I feel like, I'm going to use me as an example. There's a lot of shit that I did on season 6 that wasn't shown on TV. But guess what? I did not do it for it to be shown on TV. I did it because it was genuinely something that was in my heart. When I went into the jail facility, when I decided to volunteer and be a participant on season 6 of 60 Days In, not only did I want to bring awareness about celiac disease, food allergies, intolerances, and sensitivities, I am a mentor. That is what I do. 95% of the stuff that I did to mentor did not make the television. And guess what? I'm okay with that because I did it. And I did it with my heart being in the right place. I didn't care if it was shown. I do believe that Carlos is a good dude. I do believe that Carlos does not, like me, he's in protecting mode with people that are bullied. I don't like that. It makes me feel some type of way. So I can get that, but I just feel like because there's cameras, I am wondering, are you doing too much? Are you doing too much? I mean, aren't people trying to sleep, bro? Like, isn't it like nighttime? I don't know. Looks like people are, you know, in their beds, maybe talking. I love Abner. There were things about Abner that I enjoyed on this season. There were things about Abner that I didn't enjoy. But guess what? There are things about my season that people probably enjoyed watching and things that they didn't. And again, we only get a glimpse of what the production company and A&E wants us to see. But the first thing I thought is, here we go. We have an enforcer, Abner 2.0. We had Abner, we had Dennis, we had Tony. Now we have Carlos. I got to be bigger. I got to be better than those that came before me. And it kind of takes away from the genuineness for me. It does. Bull Rider versus Thump. We'll talk about that on another one because Bull Rider was not having it. I think that where I want to leave this episode is we'll talk about Stokes owing Deshaun the 5 cookies and not wanting to pay him. And, you know, Carlos gets involved again. Again, I know he wants people to see him as a pod boss. He wants to be protective. I get that. But there is a thin line between wanting to be helpful and doing too much and seeming like it's not genuine because you know the cameras are there. You know that you are there to record a docuseries. So again, I do enjoy watching Carlos. I do think Carlos has definitely genuine moments, but I just I want Carlos to pull back, but I don't think it's in his personality. I think this is an opportunity for him to do some stuff that he is passionate about, but more so for the entire world to see and praise him. And I don't know, it leaves me feeling some type of way because, like Tyra Banks said, Carlos, I was rooting for you. I'm still rooting for you, but I feel some type of way after this episode. So let me hear your thoughts. Put your comments, your concerns. Hey, if you agree with me or you don't agree, let me know your thoughts. Drama Queen is out. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. And I'll see you later. Bye.